The CIS and the Republic's Great War may have only lasted 3 years, however it was filled with devastating defeats and great victories for both sides. However, at the beginning of the war, the Separatists had a distinct advantage over the Republic, and it seemed victory was assured. But why was this, and what happened? Now, early on in the war, we need to understand that the CIS did have a distinct advantage. Remember, Dooku and the Council had been planning this for a long time under Sidious's instruction. They had already created facilities, promoted leaders, and set plans into action to win the war. Despite this, both sides were still definitely not ready for the conflict. It happened a lot earlier than it was supposed to. Now, we've talked previously about the Separatist strategy for the war, the stateless strategy, where unlike the Republic without clearly determined borders and capitals, the Republic was unable to target specific places. It also allowed the Separatists to determine where, when, and how they would fight the Republic. Now, with this advantage, the Separatists quickly began to secure its territories in the Outer Rim. However, at this point, the Republic was nowhere ready to launch a full-scale offensive of its own. Now, early on in the war, the Republic suffered from one major disadvantage, and that was a lack of enthusiasm about the conflict. It had come out of nowhere. It seemed to many that the Jedi had illegally started the conflict by going to Geonosis in the first place. Not only this, but the clone army was incredibly controversial. Remember, no one had any idea about this. Most people in the Republic didn't believe the Republic had a standing army, and then out of nowhere this clone army's just appeared. This left many senators and everyday citizens feeling quite angry. After all, it was their taxes being used to fund this army, and although they knew tensions had arisen through the Separatist crisis, no one was expecting a war. And I feel this is quite understandable. I mean, imagine if you lived in a peaceful country, then overnight your government unveils their huge, colossal army that you knew nothing about. People are going to start asking questions. As well as this, some people had ethical quandaries about the use of the clone army. Remember, a Jedi had created this army without the authorization of the Republic. And these are living people, so many people saw this as a very shady act done by the Jedi. The clones were, in a way, just slaves. And needless to say, people didn't agree with that. Not only this, but the Republic was supposed to be ensuring galactic peace the same way it had done for millennia, without the use of an army. This sort of massive change was not welcome, nor was the Jedi's role moving from peacekeeper to generals. Everything seemed to turn very authoritarian overnight. There was also the big question of was it necessary? Many people didn't really think the Separatists were a threat, just a few Outer Rim worlds and some business tycoons grumbling at the edge of the galaxy. And they believed the Jedi Judiciary Forces and Native Security Forces would be enough to keep them in line, similarly to what happened on Naboo. So people just didn't see the need for this huge army. With all this controversy regarding the clones, it made it very difficult for the Republic to mobilize anything really. Senators didn't want to secure more funding for the war, some for reasons such as they just didn't agree with it, some because their constituents didn't want it, and some just thought it was a waste of money. For this reason, the clone army was left poorly managed and devoid of much industrial might such as starships being supplied to them. And this greatly contrasts with the Separatist Alliance, whose military was kept almost completely separate from the Separatist Parliament. Remember, the Separatist Council decided how much was spent on droids, and this was all dictated by Dooku. This meant that it was far less bureaucratic, allowing the Separatist military to work faster than the Republic's, meaning they were allowed to begin their offensive campaign and invade the Republic before the Republic really had any chance to organise. And this led to a string of early onset Separatist victories. Now, eventually it became clear that the Separatists were a serious threat. Their invasion of key infrastructure worlds such as those producing food and technology, and this tied with Republic propaganda highlighting CIS war crimes, not to mention devastating news from the Holonet about worlds being invaded, it quickly gained the support of the people. People actually realised that the Separatists were a serious threat to their everyday lives. Not only this, but Sidious began demanding more emergency powers, doing away with all of the bureaucracy. A year into the war, with now the full strength of the Republic backing its troops, the Separatists had in a way almost already lost. They would never be able to match the sheer financial nor industrial might of the entire Republic. A Republic that was now unified in one goal: stopping the Separatists. But what do you guys think? Why do you think the Republic citizens were so slow to back the war? And what do you think would have happened if they were backing it from the beginning? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, please remember to like, share and sub if you did enjoy it, as it's really appreciated and it helps the channel grow. Also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at TheLawGuy and tick the bell for regular updates. Thanks again for watching, I really do hope that you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.